What if I told you that behind the grandeur of the White House lies a hidden, darker past? This iconic symbol of freedom and power has its own share of hushed tales and forgotten incidents. Stories that have been overshadowed by its majestic facade, buried deep in the annals of history. Intriguing, isn't it? The White House as you've never seen it before. A place where the walls talk, if you listen closely. Prepare to dive deep into the hidden corners of the White House's history, where secrets lie in wait. Our journey begins in the 18th century, during the construction of the White House. In the heart of a burgeoning nation, the construction of the White House was a monumental task. A symbol of the country's progress and ambition, this iconic structure was the dream of a nation, but a nightmare for many of its builders. For this grand edifice, which would come to represent the free world, was built on the backs of enslaved individuals. The irony of it all is as stark as the contrast between the White House's gleaming white exterior and the dark shadows of its history. Enslaved individuals, torn from their homelands and families, were thrust into the harsh, unrelenting conditions of labor. They toiled in the summer heat, their sweat mixing with the dust and dirt, their hands blistered and raw from shaping the stones that would form the very foundations of this symbol of freedom. The construction site was no less than a battlefield, where these individuals waged a daily war against exhaustion, hunger, and despair. Their lives were dictated by the crack of the whip, their worth measured in bricks laid and stones carved. And yet, amidst this dehumanizing environment, they remained resilient. They clung to their humanity, their spirit echoing in the silent spaces between their labor. Each brick, each stone, each fixture of the White House bears the imprint of their struggle. Their stories, their pain, their resilience are etched into the very fabric of the building. Yet, these are stories that are often overlooked, forgotten, or deliberately erased from the narrative of this iconic landmark. It's important to remember that the grandeur of the White House, which stands as a beacon of democracy and freedom, is underpinned by a foundation of shadows, a foundation that was built on the forced labor and suffering of enslaved individuals. Their contributions, their sacrifices, their stories are an integral part of the history of the White House. They are the silent witnesses to the contradictions and ironies of a nation's journey. The very walls of this iconic building hold the echoes of their pain and suffering. As if the walls weren't already steeped in sorrow, they soon became home to restless spirits. The White House, a symbol of power and prestige, has its own share of ghostly tales that make your spine tingle. Over the years, numerous sightings of specters and unexplained phenomena have added a supernatural element to the history of this iconic building. Winston Churchill, the indomitable Prime Minister of Britain during World War II, once reported seeing the ghost of Abraham Lincoln by the fireplace in his guest room. He was so startled that he refused to sleep in that room ever again. And it's not just Lincoln. His wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, who was known to conduct seances in the White House to communicate with her deceased children, is also said to wander the halls. Some visitors have reported hearing her faint cries, a chilling reminder of the grief she carried for her lost children. There's also the tale of Abigail Adams, the wife of the second U.S. President, John Adams. She used the East Room to hang laundry during her time in the White House. Today, some claim to have seen her ghostly figure, arms outstretched as if still tending to her chores, floating through the East Room. But it's not just the famous who haunt this landmark. The lesser-known spirit of the British soldier, who set the White House on fire during the War of 1812, has been spotted holding a torch, as if his mission of destruction is still not complete. These stories, passed down from generation to generation, create an eerie atmosphere that hangs over the White House. The tales of specters wandering the corridors and old presidents working late into the spectral night serve to remind us that history, and those who made it, never truly leave us. From former presidents to their grieving widows, the White House seems to be a beacon for the spectral. So the next time you look at this symbol of democracy, remember that it might just be looking back at you through the eyes of the countless spirits that call it home. But the shadowy past of the White House doesn't stop at eerie apparitions. Indeed, the White House has been the silent witness to a multitude of personal tragedies that have played out within its hallowed walls. In fact, the history of this iconic building is punctuated with instances of human frailty and personal struggle, forever etched in its unseen annals. Take, for instance, the case of President William Henry Harrison. In the early days of April 1841, after only a month in office, he became the first U.S. president to die while still in office. A cold he caught during his lengthy inauguration speech turned into pneumonia, and within a month he was gone. His death sent a shockwave across the nation, forever reminding us of the human vulnerability that lies beneath the facade of power. Then there was President Woodrow Wilson's debilitating stroke in October of 1919. It was an event that quietly changed the course of American history. Wilson, who had been working tirelessly to promote his League of Nations proposal, was suddenly struck down, incapacitated by a stroke. For months, the country was effectively without a president, as Wilson's condition was kept largely hidden from the public. The White House became a shroud of secrecy, with only a handful of people aware of the true state of the president's health. And these are just a few of the unseen tragedies that have occurred within the White House. Each one of these events has left an indelible mark on the fabric of American history, demonstrating that the White House, much like the individuals who have inhabited it, is no stranger to suffering and adversity. Through all its grandeur and glory, the White House has seen its share of sorrow and struggle, a testament to the human condition that underlies even the most powerful of institutions. It seems that the White House, for all its glory, has also been a stage for personal tragedies. Now imagine a labyrinth of secret passages and hidden rooms right beneath the White House. Delving into the depths of the White House, one encounters a maze of clandestine tunnels, secret chambers, and fortified bunkers. These hidden spaces, shrouded in mystery, have served a multitude of purposes throughout the centuries, many of which have been pivotal in shaping the course of American history. During times of war and crisis, the White House has often doubled as a fortress, with its secret spaces providing safety and sanctuary. These hidden rooms and tunnels have been used as escape routes, secure meeting places, and even as storage for classified documents. One of the most notable of these secret spaces is the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, or PEOC. Nestled deep beneath the East Wing, this bunker has been a secure haven for presidents during times of national emergency. It was here, on the fateful day of September 11, 2001, President George W. Bush and his team sought refuge as they navigated the nation through one of its darkest hours. Then there are the secret passageways. These clandestine routes, some dating back to the early 19th century, have facilitated clandestine movements within the building, away from prying eyes. They've been a crucial part of the White House's security infrastructure, allowing presidents and their staff to move freely and discreetly when necessary. But not all hidden spaces within the White House have been dedicated to crisis management and security. Some have served more leisurely purposes. There's a hidden bowling alley gifted to President Truman in 1947, tucked away beneath the North Portico. And who can forget the secret Cold War-era wine cellar, rumored to have housed some of the finest vintages? These hidden spaces, each with their own unique history, are silent witnesses to the countless secrets of this historic building. They've seen the best and worst of times, provided safety in moments of crisis, and served as the backdrop for decisions that have shaped the world as we know it. These hidden spaces are silent witnesses to the countless secrets of this historic building. The history of the White House is not just about power and prestige. It's a tale of human struggles, spectral hauntings, and hidden secrets. From the unseen corners of the White House, we've journeyed into its foundations, where shadows of its past lie. These foundations, heavy with stories of sweat and sacrifice, give the White House a depth that extends beyond its gleaming facade. We've peeked into the spectral hauntings that have echoed through the hallways of this grandeur, where past inhabitants have left their indelible marks. These ghostly remnants serve as reminders of the human lives that have shaped and been shaped by the power contained within these walls. We delved into the unseen tragedies that have punctuated its illustrious history, stories of loss and heartbreak that have been as much a part of its narrative as its triumphs. These tragedies, while often overshadowed, are integral threads in the tapestry of its history. We've uncovered the hidden rooms, secret spaces that have seen pivotal decisions, clandestine meetings, and quiet moments of reflection. These hidden corners reveal a side of the White House rarely seen, adding an intriguing layer to its persona. This darker side of the White House's history, far from detracting, adds depth and richness to its story. It serves to humanize this iconic structure, reminding us that it is, at its heart, a dwelling of flesh and blood. As we step out of the shadows of the White House's past, we are left with a deeper understanding of this iconic symbol of American history